And people are like, is she even a drag queen? How disgusting. Hi, I'm Raja, and today we're gonna look at some moments in my career that have shaped me as an artist. This is becoming Raja. No way. I'm in control of this? Oh my, okay, jeez. Wow, you guys went deep in my Instagram. I can tell you a lot about this picture. This is probably 91, maybe 92. I was about 18 years old in this photo, and the person that I'm wrapping a pipe around is a famous drag queen in my particular queer community, and her name was Barbarella, and I idolized her. I had just started doing drag, and I was very much in the goth scene. Everything that I know now, I learned in that scene. I learned how to tuck. I learned about, people of trans experience. I take that with me now, even in what I do now, decades later. I still feel like I'm a part of that scene. I feel very hopeful for that kid wrapping around that pipe around the queen, because I know that later on in life, someone would be wrapping the pipe around me. Click again. Okay. Wow. Well, first of all, I used to work at America's Next Top Model. This particular scene was when Tyra actually came up with the idea of me coming on in drag because she knew that I did drag.
I just wanted to come in and have a little chit chat with you girls.
And she's like, okay, we're gonna take you and you're gonna put on the dress that I had on and the wig that I had on, and you're gonna go in and we're gonna do this whole scene where you announce that the girls are going to Thailand. And I was like, absolutely.
You know what? I think the only way we're gonna be able to settle this is to go to Thailand!
Like, be on TV and drag, like nobody else got to do that. And wear Tyra Banks' clothes and wigs on her TV show. It was an opportunity that I could not say no to. That trip to Thailand was the first traveling moment that I had as a makeup artist with America's Next Top Model. And I remained as the key makeup artist on the show after that day, after that point. I think about what a huge experience that was for me. It was that breaking moment where I just kind of like finally broke into the industry and was finally at least recognized as a working and talented makeup artist. So it was a pretty big deal for me. Oh, wow, okay. This is a scene of me winning RuPaul's Drag Race, or RuPaul announcing that I was the winner of season 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Raja.
And all I can tell you is that ugly cry is the ugliest cry I've ever seen. Finding out that I was going to be on season 3 was kind of terrifying in a sense, because I had built such a long career as a makeup artist, and reality television at the time was still kind of like a trashy game to be a part of. It wasn't something that I really wanted as part of my identity as a person who worked within the industry. The role that I've been given, as the OG whatever, is that I probably first introduced the concept of that drag doesn't have to be just pageant or just predictable. It can be something that can really mess with and fuck with gender a little bit. You don't need boobs and pads. You can just be flat-chested, and I remember just being flat-chested on RuPaul's Drag Race was so controversial. Now it's the standard. You can't get a bitch to put boobs in. Now it's just the way it is. It's like everything is sort of mixed, and I'm very thankful that I got to be one of the first few people to introduce that to what is now an industry, what is now a huge community. That's the part that I feel most accomplished about. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I love this. This is my first song and music video that I'd ever done. It was directed by my dear friend Austin Young, who's a photographer. It is very common for any drag queen now who shoots a music video to spend a minimum of $10,000. This was done at a cost of $350 on a white sheet, filmed outside in a parking lot, and the scene where water is dripping on me is a water hose, and the scene where there's wind blowing in my hair, it's a leaf blower. That's the practice that I preach. It's like you can create art at the bare minimum. It was the first time anyone had really done a song. Now it's kind of the given. If you're on Drag Race, you put out a track. And I'm not saying that my song was great, but it was definitely one of the firsts. I didn't even write the song. I don't know what a fire-breathing dragonette is. And since I've had a lot of fun with it, I have to feel free as an artist. So I will do it as I please, and I will have a fun time doing it, because I think that We, especially in the times that we live in, we become so inundated and involved in ideas that bring about so much negativity. I like the idea of always playing. Ooh. Fashion Photo RuView. Wow, I did not know that this whole thing was gonna take off the way it did. Fashion Photo RuView was an experiment, and it just so happened that I was available on a day, and Raven was available on one day, and we got together in their little basement studio, and we started rating.
We are going to toot and boot the fashions on the main stage.
It was Raven's idea to call it Toot and Boot. It was just supposed to be like, yes, no. And she was like, what if we liked it and we said toot, and what if we hated it and we said boot? And I was like, all right, whatever you want. And it's really caught on. You know, I'll go to Australia, and people would be like, hey, toot boot. I don't know how to do their accent. Toot boot it. And I'd be like, toot, you know? Or I could go to South America, and they'd ask me to toot and boot their outfits. There are things that I'm proud and not so proud about, but mostly I'm proud. I was kind of mean to people.
How do I feel about this look? Hashtag predictable.
What I try to provide in it, because Raven tends to be a little bit more on the colder side, what I try to provide is a narrative of what I see, the influences and references that I see, and I like to elaborate on that, and that's my role in it, whereas Raven's like, no, boot. And I'm like, well, wait a second, it gives me this.
Be a touch of kimono in there, and I see a little bit of Indochine in there, a little koi fish pond thrown in.
And I like to go deep in it. Just two bitches from SoCal talking shit on people's clothes, and one of them's like pretty high. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about this. I don't know how I forgot about it. Things have been so busy and crazy for me recently that I sometimes forget about really cool moments. This is the Make Love Not Walls campaign for Diesel, and it was shot by David LaChapelle, who in the 90s, David is a huge icon in the photography and fashion world. So I definitely jumped at the chance. I remember going to the audition and being very excited about it. It was really cool, and we got to do some really fun things. There was amazing props, there was like special effects, but mostly it was a day with a bunch of cool kids. I remember David saying, all right, you guys, now all of you kiss. I kissed a girl. I hadn't kissed a girl in decades. I was like, all right. And that never made it, but I wish it had, because it was, yeah, I don't think it ever happened again. Anyway. Oh my gosh, The Simpsons, oh. Definitely one of my proudest moments, man. I grew up with The Simpsons. I remember watching The Simpsons for the first time on the Tracy Ullman show when they were just kind of these little like funny cartoons. This was an episode that featured RuPaul. She befriends Marge and builds a confidence, builds her up a little bit, and teaches Marge how to be fierce, basically, how to take on the qualities of a drag queen to be a better version of Marge. And so I think what happened was they ended up having a full-on nightclub at the house, and Homer tries to get in the club, and I'm the door girl of their own home.
Are you on the list?
How it happened was there was a group from The Simpsons that was coming to DragCon, and they needed somebody to be their MC at a panel. I mean, it's a really long story. Let me just abbreviate it. I loved especially the way they designed the character, having my actual tattoos. It is actually me, and I remember going to record the script. We did it in Boston because I was in Provincetown that summer, and that was the closest place we could do it. And I remember as soon as I finished and said goodbye to the sound people, I went out into the sidewalk and I just started weeping. Oh my God, I'm crying at something so gratifying. And then rain started to pour. I was like, can this get any more dramatic? Like, it was such a good, yeah, oh my God, I got emotional about it. No, but that was really cool. Very cool. Well, this is an advertisement for my solo show, Masque. The story of Masque was really a conversation about how we mask ourselves, how we, live in a life of filters. This is the second of shows that I'd ever done. But what I can tell you about These are the times that you have to scare the shit out of yourself as an artist. I had been going to Provincetown since 2007, and it's always been a really magical spot. I also was able to see a lot of the people that I'd idolize as performers. It's very much a theater type of community, and all the performers there are usually live performers. My beacons of performance growing up were people like Joey Arias, Raven O, Farla Jean Merman, Jackie Beat. You know, the list is endless, and so I wanted a piece of that. I didn't grow up as a theater kid, so singing and stage stuff, theater style, wasn't part of my skills or skill set. So basically, I just started doing these solo shows to learn about it. How else do you learn about something other than just throwing yourself in there? It was important. It really taught me huge, huge lessons about myself and about who I am as a performer. Oh God, I hate this. This is the New York Magazine drag cover. There was a lot of us. This was taken at a drag con. So I didn't realize how fucking serious this shoot was. The clothes that I'm wearing are really just like my comfy drag con clothes, because when you're at drag con, you're there for like 12 hours and you're meeting with fans. The photographer had a very New York Magazine cover style to what he did, and it was a very raw, unpolished, no filter style of photography, and it caught many of us off guard, and it really caused a stir and a conversation, and we actually now send the photos of each other just to agitate each other, and we're like, this is what you really look like, bitch. New York cover.
But on the flip side, what was it like to be on the list of the most powerful drag queens?
Sounded about right to me. So now we're in more current times. This is a scene from All Stars 7, RuPaul's Drag Race, all winners, and this is a Snatch Game.
Welcome, everybody. Let's meet tonight's Snatch Game contestants.
All I know is I had a really fun time choosing these two characters, especially the Madam character. Diana Vreeland is probably a little bit more recognizable because there's a documentary on her and she's a big force in the fashion world. But Madam in particular was kind of an untold tale a little bit to this young generation of queers and queens. Madam is drag. Madam was the drag puppet character of Waylon Flowers, and Madam was over the top, and she had a gray top knot in her head or a turban. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I have to do Madam because I grew up watching Waylon Flowers and Madam.
But I need an Oscar more than you do.
No.
I'd love to have a little naked man right next to my bed every night.
I think there's so many queer artists, and Waylon was one of the thousands of people, very talented people who were taken by the AIDS epidemic, and I think that needs to be told. That story needs to be told. If I can just tell a tidbit of it, to bring a glimpse of who this person was as an artist, yes, that's my job. That's definitely what I like to do, and that's my job. And it was really fucking fun.
A Tonight Show, and now I'm just on Quaaludes.
And Diana Vreeland, oh my God, come on. Like, over the top. Again, eccentric, old ladies are my thing. Like, I am that.
Purple mittens.
I am becoming an eccentric old woman that, that's opinionated and wears outfits, and I just had to. Being on All Stars, I think I definitely walked in there with a different attitude. I had a shit ton of wisdom with me. My mantra really was just to get through it. I'm a person of a certain age, if you will, so I hate to be inconvenienced, and there was a lot of inconvenient moments behind the scene, and it was that the conversation was really just just get through this. You're spoiled, gorgeous bitch, and you know what? You need a little boot camp once in a while. You need something to kind of rev up, kind of put a little punch in the art, And this was definitely what I needed. I said 11 years ago when RuPaul asked me why I wanted to win RuPaul's Drag Race, and it was to sort of be, I wanted to be that person that kids could look up to, for the queer kids, the gay kids, the gender non-binary, fluid, name them all. If you are a person who feels outside, if you feel like you don't belong, I always wanted to be a person who sort of championed and represented them. And in the last 11 years, I think I've definitely been able to do that, including some of my actual, the people that I was competing with. They were like, wow, I was in college, I was in high school, I was in junior high when you were on RuPaul's Drag Race, and those people were the people I was competing with. So it meant a lot to me. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me because I looked up to people like that, like myself, as I was growing up and figuring out who I was as an artist and as a person. That is one of the most important things that I treasure as being Raja. Doing the work that I do now is that I definitely know that I've been a tremendous and great influence to kids, to people, and I couldn't ask for anything more. Ciao.